Hello, everyone. This week I will be talking about the important principles of what it is to effectively implement and market a family life education program. So to start this broadcast, I'm going to go ahead and share with everyone some of the principles that I learned this week that will be implemented as I continue on this path of family education. Um, there are many different approaches in which a person can take in regards to teaching a family life education program. First, there's going to be 5 different points that I'm going to point out right now, and usually it's going to depend on the people that we teach. Some people may have different circumstances. Some people may have different background stories, and so as a family educator, you got to be able to deliver the message according to what their needs are. So first, what was taught this week is that there's an expert approach. Um, it reads right here that an expert approach fits a liberal educational philosophy, which is the oldest enduring program philosophy with roots tracing back to Greek philosophy. Family life educators, I'm sorry, are seen as professors of important knowledge and skills others do not have, who rely upon to transmit them. So basically, those who are going to be family life educators are going to be held to a higher standard as a person who educates, teach, and implements what they teach. Some may look at this from a facilitator standpoint. Um, Usually, in this approach, the a person who teaches family life education according to a facilitator style is that many times they'll teach they'll teach family life education according according to the circumstances of all the individuals. So basically, by asking questions, being able to get information about everyone in their group, they'll be able to create an agenda in which they can teach their class. The third thing is that there's a critical inquirer report approach. Usually, with this type of approach, a family life educator is going to ask questions really in depth. They're going to be able to really implement and help their clients really think deep about the questions so that they can be able to internalize and learn the knowledge that they can in order to help their families. There's the interventionist approach, which is when you sit down with the family, you talk strategies, you give them feedback, you give them steps and goals, and then you help them accomplish that as they go off on their own. There's the eclectic approach, which means they can pretty much implement many different things, but usually with this approach, it's really important to be able to have discernment with you, because being able to discern, ask questions and whatnot, you'll be able to adjust, and you'll be able to know how you can teach those who you will facilitate. So right now we've kind of talked about a little bit of the different approaches that can happen with family life education. I'm going to shift gears a little bit to the second thing we learned this week, which was a statement of principles. Um, so the first thing I want to talk about is the principle of momentum. Um, there was a book given by Dr. Godman, who's a phenomenal marriage and family specialist. He talked about the importance of emotional bank, how when couples are able to as they're able to help build each other emotionally, that adds up into a bank, kind of like a checking account, and it just continues to build and build. That's definitely an effective tool that will help couples, something that family life educators can educate on as they continue to help. Um, there was also the principle of chaos, which means like everything in a marriage. Um, it says right here, the world is not always tidy. Meaning by that, is that couples will always have they'll always have opposite views and opinions. And according to that, um, as couples expect differences and work together, they will be able to have peace and cooperation. There's the principle of legacy, which is an ultimate goal of well-being depends on making investments in others. So, as a family life educator, that's something that's essential as you're able to as you're really able to connect, build rapport, build relationships, gain trust, respect of others. You will be able to see you will be able to see miracles happen. You will be able to you will be able to see success in those who you will teach. Um, from a family life education application standpoint, um, many couples may be disappointed or may feel sorrow, maybe because maybe they won't see results right away. But a way that a family educational person can go about that is by stating a question, invite them to find the glory in their family story, and have them being able to build off that. Now shifting to our last gear, I want to be able to talk about the last principle that we learned about this week, and that's the importance of knowing how to market family life principles, practices, and the program itself. So I want to start out by a story that was in our reading this week. Many people may have seen the famous movie that Kevin Costner starred in, which is Field of Dreams. In this movie, he was a farmer, had a lot of things that happened to him throughout his life. Um, one day, one day, as he was out in his field working, he had a voice come to him saying, "If you build it, it will come." And from this voice, he was kind of, and as he heard this voice, and as he was able to seek further instruction, he was able to he was able to find the answer that he was needing to build a football field. Long story short, he built this field. He was able to make history, and many miracles happened in his life. And so that same principle can be implemented to us individually as we market our programs. If we build it, if we market it correctly, many people will come, and many great things will happen. You'll be able to deliver the message that they will need to hear. Most people who come to you will have a need. They'll be able to have they have special circumstances which they're trying to find answers to, and a role as a family life educator, they can be an advocate and an effective tool in helping those family members. So, what are the important steps of implementing a family life education program? First thing is the product. The product. You need to be able to understand your service. You need to be able to know how to explain your service. You need to be able to know that it works and that it will be able to help others as well. Being able to have that strong testimony of your product, you'll be able to help convince others of its of the effectiveness of it. Um, so a very important principle is assessing the target audience, identifying the specific target audience, and aiding for segmenting the population. So as you find your target audience, you got to be able to know where they're at. You got to be able to know who the individuals are that you need to market to. Um, ages, gender, family size, family cycle, family income, occupations, the language, their literacy, where they're at. Well, not where they're at, but where they're at on these types of levels. A second thing is psychographic, which means like being able to know the lifestyles, the personalities, characteristics, values, social norms of these people, their attitudes, and their behaviors. Those are some basic things, but but being able to market a program is a lot more than that. You got to be able to know the price of your program. How much is it going to cost to implement the program? How much is it going to cost to market it? What materials do you need? Um, what maybe internet or other products that you will need to be able to make this program effective? You got to be able to work through promotion. I mean, you got to be able to work through appearance. Appearance is something that's essential. As you're able to develop an effective image, people's going to be able to see that, and that's what's going to attract them to your program. You got to be able to work through promotion, which means you got to have activities. You got to have advertisements, which means you got to use social media. You got to be able to get the word out to everyone. You got to be able to tell friends, have them tell people, and just being able to reach out to everyone you can. You got to be able to have giveaways, which we talked about. You got to have prizes, things that's going to attract people. And something else is that you got to have the publics. You got to be able to reach out to those who you know will be influenced by the program, and then they'll be able to go out. And so yeah, these are some of the things that a person can implement in their life if they're gonna in order to have an effective program. Um, there's definitely a lot more things that can happen, but these are some of the foundational subjects, and as you do implement them, you'll be able to see success as you develop the goal of wanting to be a family life educator. Thank you.